Okay, in this tutorial we're going to carry on from the making of the menu in Unreal Engine. So if you remember last time, we created our graphics for this, we put our graphics in, and we set up the different states for the buttons. So if we click play on this, it goes straight into the gameplay. So what we need this to do is actually go into the menu instead. Now there's two ways of doing this. We can actually have the gameplay start, and we can have the menu sitting over the top of that, and disabling the player input, all the other things. Or what we can actually do, a better way to do that is just to create a new level and have the menu sitting in there without any gameplay happening at all. So let's run this game and let's do that. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do a new level, okay, an empty level. Just save this, call this main menu. What I'll do is I'll actually create a new folder, call this levels or maps. Go into my content, let's just drag and drop this in here, move here. And let's also find the map for the first person, and I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to drag this into our levels just so everything's in the same place within here. Okay, so in our first person, I'm going to go into the blueprints. I'm going to open the level blueprint. Let me just make sure I'm in this. Oops, wrong one. Blueprints, open level blueprint. Let's just get rid of this. So what we want this to do is automatically, as soon as the game starts, we want this to trigger off the menu and load the menu into the viewport. So there is an add to viewport node, but if you notice, if we just drag this off, we're not getting anything on there. So what we need to do first of all is create a widget. Remember, we were using a widget blueprint, so we actually need to create a reference to that. So let's just right click, just type in widget. I'm going to do a create widget. Okay. Let's connect this up. So the first thing in this, we have our class, and our widget is a class. So we can go in here, and here we have our main menu. Click on that. And to actually get this to work, when we do our add to viewport, we need to save this or store this in a variable. So I'm just going to take out the return value, and we're going to promote to variable. Okay. Let's call this. Let's call it main menu var, and that's storing that out. And now we need to create a reference to this variable to add to the viewport. So I'm going to drag out from our variables, and we're going to get this reference, and then from here we can drag out of here, and we can use the command add to viewport. It comes up there. You notice how we just came straight out of here and tried to add to viewport. We are getting it, but we do still need the target in there as well. So let's just click in, and our main menu variable is our target for adding to the viewport. Okay. So let's just compile that. Let's just save all. And let's just dock this. And if we go back to our main menu now, and just click on play, there we go. Okay. Go press Shift F1 just to show the mouse and the viewport. There we have our different states. Okay, we have our press state, and everything's good to go. So what we're going to look at next is creating a bit more functionality on the buttons in terms of animations, adding sound, and then finally we'll create the functionality to trigger off our menu from the buttons. So let's go into our main menu widget. So to create animations, we have an animation timeline down here, but you see it's completely empty right now. What we need to do is go in, and we need to select the item or asset that we want to animate. So I'm just going to click on my new game button. Down here we can now click on the plus animation. Click on this, let's call this call this new game. I'm going to say that the name's already in place, so we just need to put its unique name. So let's call this new game anim. Highlight that, and then what we can do is we can start adding keyframes in. I'm just going to go over to, let's go into this for appearance, the render transform. I'm just going to go into the transform for this. So at the side of all these, we have this little thing, add a keyframe for this property. So what I'm going to do is just have a simple scale value on this. So let's go in, let's just click on the scale, and I'm going to create, I'm just going to have this over 3 keyframes with the middle keyframe being the animation. So I'm just going to click the keyframe here, and move this forward 1 frame. Let's do another keyframe, let's go forward 1 frame and add another keyframe. I'm going to go into the middle keyframe and just click on this to highlight it. And now I'm going to go into the scale and just, let's say, set this up 1.2, 1.2, just to resize this button out a little bit. So we have our normal state, our animation state, and back to our normal state. Okay, so just something like that. Okay. Now, if we want to add this as a button, you can just go in. What we're going to use is, we've got all the events down here that we can use. We've got an on-clicked event. So what I'm going to do is click on this, and this is actually going to go into the event graph for our widget. So click this. So we've got an on-clicked here. So let's move this to one side. Let's drag off, and we're going to do a play animation. Oops. There we go. So we need our target for this. So our target is going to be our new game anim. So let's just right click. Let's just type in new game. There we go. Get new game anim. So we have our reference, and then we can just connect this into the animation. Okay. So that should work. Let's just compile that, let's just save, go back to the main menu and just click on play. Let's just click Shift F1 again. Now you notice, there we go, you see it is getting bigger. I don't know if you noticed that at the start it seemed to be already sized up. Get out of this and just check this. Back to our designer. Make sure in the start frame. Let's just check this. Okay, it is fine. Sometimes you find that this actually kind of defaults or sets itself to the animated size. So I'm just checking those out. Nope, that looks to be fine. So let's do the same for the other buttons. Now I'm going to click on the resume game button. Click on animation. Let's call this resume game anim. So this is highlighted. Again, let's just go. We'll create 3 keyframes. There. Just go back to this middle one. Let's set this up. In doubt, you can always re-click the set the keyframe, but it should auto keyframe that. Okay, that one. And then while we're in this, go down. Let's click on the on clicked. So same thing. Let's drag out. Let's do a play animation. Create a reference to resume. There we go. Get resume game anim, and then we can drag this into the animation target. Again, compile, save. Let's just test this out. Let's just Shift F1. Doesn't seem to be. let's do the others, and then I will check that they seem to be starting on that larger state. Back to our designer, click on the options. So let's add that animation in. Let's call this options anim. Tricky to just grab this, create those keyframes. Go into the middle keyframe. In fact, what I'll probably do here is just pause the video while I do the other two and add the functionality. Okay, so I've gone and done all of that. Add all these buttons in there. We just need to do our high score actually. And then we'll go and fix the problem. So let's go into high score animation. We've got animation here. Let's go in and create an on clicked, and actually we look to have done it. Let's make sure this is. Just view this. Oh, we haven't. Was it on clicked options? Make sure we just highlight this. Make sure we're in our high score here. That's the thing. There we go. I just didn't have the high score highlighted over here. Excuse me. So let's go to the on clicked for this. I'll just finish this one off. Let's go get high score on him. Okay, compile and save. I'm going to go back and play this, and you will notice that they're all too big. Okay, they're all at the size that they were. And this is just a little thing that happens with the widget blueprint. Let's escape out of this. So we just need to go back in and just go back over. It's a new game. I'm just saying it's okay there. Let me just make sure it is one. Let's just set this one to 1. Set this one to 1. And set this one to 1. And hopefully this will have fixed it. So let's just do a compile and save. Let's go back to our main menu. Let's click on play. Now we still have that. This is definitely saying that it is 1. Let's just force it down. And so force that back. There we go. So Shift F1. Now we have our animations over. So it's just that little stage. You've got to go back and click on your buttons again and just go into the scale, and you might just have to reset that back to its beginning scale. Okay, and we've got all of those things in. Okay, so before we do the functionality, so we can click on the new game button and it opens our level, let's just add some sounds. So I already have an audio folder which I've just loaded in. I have two sounds here. We just go back to our blueprint widget and let's click on, say, the new game. So what we can do, back in the appearance and under the style, so this is where we added our different states for the button. What we can do in here is we've got down here this press sound and hovered sound. So I'm going to click on the press sound and we're going to use this click on sound, and I'm going to go to the hover sound, and I've just got this sound here. So again, let's compile, let's save this, go over and play, Shift F1. Okay. So again, I'll pause the video and add the other sounds onto the other buttons, and then we can create the blueprint. So all of those sounds have been added now. Now we're going to the final thing. So I'm just going to go in. We're in our designer window. I'm just going to go into the graph. We're actually going to add from our on-clicked new game button. So from here, what we actually want to do is want to drag out, if it's letting me. Oh, I know why. I still got the level playing. Let's go back into our main menu. Okay, that's the menu. The level actually stopped playing now. Let's go in. So I'm going to drag out. What we need to do is use and open a level. Okay. So with this one, we need to get the name of the level we're going to open up. Now this needs to be exactly the same name. So what I'm going to do to make this a bit easier is go back into the main menu in our levels. And I've got this first person example map that we're just going to use for this. I'm just going to click on that and get the name, Control C. Go back into our main menu. Let's just delete that and let's paste in Control V. Just an easier way of actually getting that name in there so it's exactly right. Then we need to get rid of the widget from the screen, otherwise it will stay on top of the game. So let's just drag out and we're going to use a remove from parent. There we go. And that is all we need to do. So let's just compile that. Let's just save this. Let's go back to our main menu. Let's click on play. Let's just do a Shift F1. So we've got all the functionality. When we click on new game, that opens up. Okay. Okay. So that's creating the menu for the game and actually adding the functionality onto that. And that's the end of this tutorial.